Yes,
Yeah.
and well, when I said, will there ever be any reconciliation? You said you won't say that.
I won't
so
say that.
You're open to a conversation with Lonnie Love.
I am. I'm open to a conversation because I feel like now, first of all, I probably should say this out loud and in front of everybody. I apologize for calling her a big bad Cadillac. Not in any way did I want to shame her or, I've held on to, my composure all of this time and never said nothing, bad, and that was just really a vulnerable moment, and I apologize, Lonnie. I really want to have a conversation that could lead to a reconcile. But it doesn't. But reality TV with Black people and Black families, I think that it's hard for networks to stay the course of Black families being successful and being positive. You know what I'm saying? They always, want to turn the corner of negative.
And as ghetto and as ratchet as everybody think I am, you can think whatever you want, but I am nothing like that and don't want to be a part of nothing like that, and I just don't have time for it. Well, yeah, I mean, that was, the Tamar show was offered to me, but, we'll see, because, this is like an all-time low. Like, it's almost like how you support somebody who goes against your morals and values and, like, blindside your family. Like, hold on, that's Troy. That means I have to get off the live. That means I'm saying too much. And it's nothing against her. I love her. Her kids are beautiful. I think she's a nice person. I've met her a couple times, and that's that. And I just want to say good night, and I love you guys.
Let me see the stuff. Take it all in. Take it all in. No, ma'am. Nowhere, ma'am.
What if I told you the biggest Braxton family scandal didn't come from reality TV, but from a daughter most people barely knew existed? What if I told you that for decades, a child was hidden, silenced, dismissed, and even shamed? Not by strangers, but by her own family. And now, the truth is exploding online in real time. Today, we're diving into the full, raw story of Ashley, the woman who says she spent her entire childhood being abused, ignored, and erased, all while the world watched the Braxtons rise to fame. But behind the platinum records and TV cameras was a secret so heavy that the family has spent years trying to cover it up. This is not gossip. This is not a rumor. This is a story of trauma, denial, silence, and a woman finally refusing to stay quiet. Let's get into it. Evelyn and their famous daughters Toni, Tamar, Towanda, Trina, and Tracy. But what a lot of fans never knew is that Michael had another child, Ashley, born outside the marriage. And from the moment she entered the world, the silence around her began. Ashley wasn't raised with the rest of the family. She wasn't invited to the spotlight. She wasn't brought on stage or on the reality show or even acknowledged publicly in the way the sisters were. Instead, Ashley says she grew up in a home filled with fear, punishment, and abuse, particularly from her stepmother. She remembers being blamed for things she didn't do, getting punished for minor mistakes, having food thrown away so she couldn't eat, being mocked for her weight, and, worst of all, waiting for protection that never came. She says she kept waiting for her father to step in, but he didn't. She waited for someone from the Braxton side to step up, but they didn't. As Ashley grew older, the abuse didn't slow down. It evolved. She recalls being left with the stepmother while her father worked nights. She remembers at one point simply hiding in the bathroom because it was the only place she felt safe. But the most painful part? She says her father would believe the stepmother over her, almost every time. Every child has one moment that changes them forever. For Ashley, it was the day she realized her father chose silence over protection. She says that's when she stopped being a child and became a survivor. While Ashley was living in chaos, the Braxtons were building a legacy. Toni was becoming a superstar. The sisters were working on music, touring, becoming household names. Then came Braxton Family Values, the show that turned the entire family into celebrities. But even with cameras following them everywhere, even with producers digging for storylines, Ashley's name was barely acknowledged. Not a storyline, not a confession, not even a casual mention, just silence. To Ashley, this silence wasn't accidental. It was intentional. A way to maintain the perfect image, a way to protect the brand, a way to avoid drama that could hurt their careers. But silence doesn't erase truth. It only buries it. Years later, Ashley says she finally tried to open up. She spoke about her childhood. She talked about the abuse. She reached out to tell her side of the story, and for the first time, the Braxton family actually responded. They invited her on the family podcast. Ashley thought, finally, we're going to have a real conversation, a space to tell the truth, a chance to heal. She recorded the episode. She poured out her heart. She told her story openly and vulnerably. But then, the episode never aired. Imagine finally finding the courage to speak, just to be silenced again. That moment broke something in her. Ashley says she realized the family wasn't trying to understand her. They were trying to protect themselves. But Ashley didn't quit that easily. She started talking online, posting clips, sharing memories, opening up about years of trauma she never processed. And right when her voice started getting louder, right when people started paying attention, the sisters reacted. Other family members basically implied she was exaggerating or misunderstanding. But Ashley wasn't chasing anything. She was remembering. She was healing. She was taking her power back in real time. And the more she shared, the clearer the pattern became. Whenever Ashley spoke about her pain, the family acted like she was the problem. Instead, they questioned her, dismissed her, minimized her. That's not confusion. That's gaslighting. Why would a whole family stay silent while someone is hurting? Because the truth is messy. Because accountability is uncomfortable. Because image is easier than healing. Because acknowledging Ashley's story means acknowledging years of choices that hurt her. And this family, like many famous families, is built on a brand, a reputation, a legacy. Admitting the truth threatens all of that. But the bigger reason, if Ashley's story is real, if what she claims truly happened, then the hero in their family story, the father, isn't a hero at all. And the stepmother wasn't strict, she was abusive. And the sisters weren't just kept away, they may have turned a blind eye. It forces everyone to face the fact that the child who was supposed to be loved wasn't. Some families would rather bury the truth forever than deal with that. Here's the part that breaks and inspires everyone watching. Ashley isn't telling her story for revenge. She isn't trying to embarrass the Braxtons. She isn't trying to go viral. She's healing. We're watching a woman process trauma she carried for decades. Trauma that shaped her childhood, her relationships, her confidence, her whole identity. And for the first time in her life, people believe her. People hear her. People understand her. She has supporters from around the world encouraging her, comforting her, and reminding her she's not alone. And that's something the family cannot undo. There's a reason this story exploded online, because this isn't just about the Braxtons. This is about every family that hides their secrets. Every child who grew up unseen. Every adult still trying to heal from things people pretend never happened. Ashley's story touches people because it's familiar. It's real, it's raw, and it forces us to ask the uncomfortable questions. What happens when the truth finally comes out? What happens when the child who was silenced refuses to stay silent? What happens when the family that ignored the pain can't ignore the internet? This isn't a celebrity scandal. This is a generational wound, and we are all watching it unfold. So, where does this go from here? Ashley has no intention of stopping. She's not hiding. She's not backing down. She's not erasing her story to protect anyone's reputation. As for the Braxton family, they're at a crossroads. They can keep denying, keep pretending, keep protecting their image. Or they can do what families are supposed to do: listen, acknowledge, apologize, heal. The ball is in their court. But one thing is clear: Ashley will not be silenced again. At the end of the day, Ashley's story is about so much more than family drama. It's about survival. It's about resilience. It's about what happens when a child grows up without protection and has to become her own hero as an adult. And whether you believe every detail or you're still watching the story unfold, one thing is undeniable. This woman is telling her truth. and millions of people finally understand her. If nothing else, let this be a reminder that we never know what someone survived behind the scenes. We never know what they carried through childhood, what they hid to keep the peace, or how much they had to unlearn just to feel human again. So if you're watching this and you relate to Ashley, if you grew up in a house where no one listened, where you had to protect yourself, where you were taught to swallow your pain, I want you to know something. Your story matters too. Your voice deserves to be heard. And healing is not only possible, it's powerful. Ashley found her voice. And no matter how uncomfortable it makes her family, she's not giving it up again. If you want part 2, more updates, or deeper breakdowns of everything happening behind the scenes, make sure you like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what comes next. Because trust me, this story is far from over.